Welcome back to Deano's Garage. Now today we're going to be looking at the Yamaha FZ1-S and a little bit of an issue with the bike starting. Now the bike does eventually start, but what happens is this. Now as you can see, I'm pressing the start button and we can hear the starter relay clicking, but the bike's not initially starting up. Now I'm hoping with this particular bike, it seems to be a possible issue that the starter relay can have an issue, and obviously this bike's getting a little bit older in its mileage and perhaps the starter relay is failing a little. So what I have got is this is a new starter relay. Actually it was only £15, so really cheap, straight off of eBay for this particular model, and I'm going to be switching it over today and showing you just how easy that is to switch over, and then hopefully we eradicate the starter problem of this particular bike. And I'm showing you guys just how easy it is if you have a similar issue with your Yamaha FZ1-S or FZ1-N, or perhaps even another Yamaha like an R1 or an FZ6, you know, of a very similar sort of age that might have a starter relay issue. So yeah, let's get on now and we'll change it over, and hopefully we'll overcome the problem. So as always, let's crack on. So first up, what we're going to do is remove the wiring that runs to this. So there is actually a cap that I can remove first. It's a little bit fiddly because you got this in the way, but now we can see the two fuses each side, and we got the positive and negative terminals. Then I can squeeze this. It is a bit tricky to undo. You can always get a pair of pliers onto it, but you should be able to squeeze the terminal block and release it. But if it's too tight, maybe because of a bit of corrosion, as in the copper terminals have weathered a bit, sometimes they just need a wiggle. Not so much of a wiggle that you damage anything, of course, but as you can see, it's becoming a little bit tricky. Now I can pull this up a little bit because the wires give me a bit of room to do so. Those wires that run down to the start motor. Right, so that's come out. So we can see in here is a little bit bluey green. That's from moisture and copper, and it's caused a little bit of corrosion. And we can see in here there's a little bit of greeny blue tinge to this connector as well. The actual connectors that go on to these spades, they look fine. There are only actually 3 connectors on here. There are 3 connectors running to those 4 spades, but there are actually 2 wires, and then a third red wire live on the back here, but nothing connected into this one. That's the point I'm trying to make. Right, so there we go. That is the starter relay there. So all I need to do is undo with what looks like a 10mm, undo that one and that one, being careful not to drop those bolts down in there somewhere. And then we've basically got our negative terminal and positive terminal, negative being far left of the bike and the positive being on the right hand side of this, so you do not want to be mixing those up. And it should be just a simple job of undoing those, swapping over, and hopefully that's the problem resolved. Now we can see we have got these 2 8mm bolts on here. Now I do need to be careful because this is live, so we've got this red live terminal running here, so it's going to be a good idea to actually disconnect the battery so we're not running power to here first. So what I'm going to do is undo this live from here, so I've no longer got live running from the battery back to this point here. Now I've taken the screw out of here, the bolt out of the live terminal, but what I'm going to do is just put a bit of kitchen towel over the top of that live terminal, so whilst that's undone there, it doesn't sort of flex back down and make direct contact again with the live terminal with the battery, which in effect would then obviously go back here and make this live again. So with that disconnected, I can safely bring this up and not accidentally touch this live onto this part of the bike, and then hopefully we can undo that. Now it is proving to be quite tight. Now there lies a problem, because I can't get hold of it and it doesn't bolt into place. So what I'm going to do is remove that fuse. 1, 2. That just gives me something a bit more easier to get hold of. And then maybe grip it some more. Now it's proving to be quite tricky undoing these bolts. I was hoping they were going to be a bit looser. They don't need to be anywhere near this tight. I might have to grab a hold of this with some pliers or something. As you can see, as I go to undo the bolt, it's rotating in my hand. There's nothing to stop it from twisting round. So I'm going to grab hold of this with something and then really clamp hold of it. So I've got these. As we can see, I can open the jaws of these to the right width. So I'm going to clamp hold of that like that. Got that between the jaws. That should stop the rotation as I then, there we go, undo. Simple sometimes, isn't it? Just having the right tools gives you the ability to do things in the right way. Then I can undo that bolt there. And I just want to safely put that up in my little box. What the new relay came in. And that one. So that's it. Simple as that. Out. So this is our new relay. That's our old relay. This one's got green, this one's got no green, and as we can see, we have the terminals, and again we are simply taking that out, putting this one in its place. Now, as we remember, it was the negative on this side and the positive on this side, and you can see the positive because it has a little connector going across, a copper plate running across to the fuse itself, obviously to help protect it. So it's kind of a clue as to which one if you ever were to forget. So we'll put that on. Fiddly little job, as you can see, because things aren't where you want them to be. We've got our bolt, and I will initially just finger tight that and get the next one lining up fairly well, and then without cross threading or anything. Finger tight that one. Then negative done up. Positive done up. Doesn't need to be super tight. Obviously it's just an electrical connection, so that's that done. Then we just need to connect that back into there. Like so. Then that should just push back down into that little area there. Now the reason it has a cap is obviously to stop that bouncing about and accidentally making a connection. Now what I've done is made a mistake. I've clicked that on there, remembered my cap. I've just got to undo that, put the cap on, because it's got this little bit that goes underneath the wire. So again, push that in. Came off a lot easier that time because it's obviously getting used to me removing it. Now with this one, it's got these fuse protectors, but these are the fuse protectors on this. So get my fingernail underneath there like that, remove that one, pop them in the box, fingernail underneath here, remove that one, get this back on here like so. That's now protecting those two connectors so they don't accidentally make contact with the frame once the battery's connected. And then that goes down into that little recess there. Should that bounce up, look, it's not going to. Now there is some little rubber bits down there, and this should push onto them rubber bits, but actually on this new one it's slightly around the wrong way. But that sits snug in there, and that's protected by that cap, so I'm happy that's isolated and fine. That's done. So we can go back to screwdriver, connection, line that up, get our little bolt from there. Being careful with your screwdriver not to be accidentally touching one thing on the battery and then another thing somewhere else that's metal, and making a bridge. That's that done. So that's it done, changed, and as you saw it just took a few minutes, and it would have taken a lot less time, but obviously, you know, it's not like I've done this before. So that should be it done. We'll have a look now and see whether it still clicks or whether it just starts up first time. Right, fingers crossed. There we go. Instantaneously started, no problem whatsoever. Off, switch off, ignition on, switch on. And there we have it. We now got an FZ1-S that starts first time every time. Simply £15 straight off of eBay for a replacement starter relay. Job's a good one. Thanks for watching Deano's Garage.